back in 2000, I'm 25 years old and a very introverted person, but I had this email newsletter, and I had an email newsletter of like a couple thousand people even back then. And so I could, and then as soon as I got into Men's Health Magazine, I had critical credibility. So it opened the doors for me. Oh, I'm the guy who writes for Men's Health Magazine. I want to interview you for my email list. I'm just going to shoot you over 6 questions. You reply back. I'm going to get this out to my email list. I'll give you some exposure. And that just allowed me to connect with a lot of people. I was trying to do presentations too. I wasn't very good at them then, but if there was an opportunity, I would go and speak at an event, whether it was a hockey training event or whether it was a sports and strength and conditioning or sports specific event. And, I got better each time I did them. And so, people would see you up there. And then as soon as you step on stage, you are afforded this critical credibility or this guru-ship, and people want to seek you out after. And I continue to write and show up, and eventually I made videos on the internet and all this stuff. And then I started going to events. I didn't start going to events until 2006. I wish I would have started going earlier. And I didn't hire a coach until 2006. I wish I would have done that earlier. But when I did, okay, even an introverted guy like me, I went to an event in 2006 and made a ton of friends, many of which I'm still friends with today, some of the best marketers in the world. And then, I met our friend Joe Polish in 2007. He's a friend of yours. He's a friend of mine. He's one of the most connected guys I know. Now, he's very extroverted. He'll go talk to anybody about anything.
Anybody.
And, he's totally different. But I was like, okay, well, how can I help this guy? I can write about him. I can introduce him to somebody else. And so if you want to be methodical about it, you can think, who are all the people that I know? Who are all the people that I want to know? How can I help the people that I know so that someday I may ask them for an introduction to the people I want to know? And, that's one thing you can do. If you live in a small town in Kansas and you were like, well, I really want to get connected to other entrepreneurs or other gym owners around the world. Well, you know what? I'll just start a little virtual group, and we'll, it's for gym owners who have, this type of clientele, and I'm going to run these little meetings, and we're going to get on. I'm going to teach what's working in my business, and it's free. I just want to grow my network. I'm going to bring in 20 people. If you don't show up, 2 out of 3 months, we're going to have to kick you out of the group or whatever, but you have to add value. And, then you grow a little circle, and then maybe someday you meet in person, and then maybe someday you all go to an event and you meet a whole bunch of other people there. And the next thing you know, you can know a lot of people, even if you're shy and timid and you live in a small town, which I was all 3 of those at one point in my life.
That's great. That's really great. That's very valuable information, Craig. It's funny because, I don't think people, I think patience is a big problem. I think people lack a lot of patience, and they don't understand that things take time. And, my biggest pet peeve is when someone says, well, I tried it twice. It didn't work. Like, are you kidding? Like, are you kidding me? I've done things 100 times. I've gone after one person for 4 years just to make a deal happen. Like, you have to be consistent. Like, that's very important. But what you said, which was brilliant, which people I hope listen to, is you provided value.
Yeah.
You weren't thinking about yourself. You were thinking about planting a seed, taking that beautiful little thing from Home Depot, I don't even know what you call it, and you water the seed, and now this beautiful plant starts growing. It starts blossoming. It's getting really nice. And then you say, you know what? I want to now rip off the flower and give it to my girlfriend, because now you have a beautiful flower. And that's when, at that point, that's when you come back and say, hey, so-and-so, do you happen to know this person? You've already provided value. You wanted nothing in return. These things take time. But if you listen to what Craig said, that is how you do it. But
in fact, you shouldn't even have to ask that person. They should say, what can I do for you?
Oh, 100%.
For you?
100%.
Yeah. And then you still, like, if you can have even more patience and say, right now, nothing, man. I just, I thought your book was amazing. I wanted to leave a 5-star review and just wanted to let you know about it. Or, I made an Instagram video about your book. Your book is amazing. You don't owe me anything. I still owe you after reading this book.